Hi, my name's Tim from Direct Bulbs, and now I'm going to show you how to plant lilies in containers. Lilies are also very suitable for growing in the garden and make great displays in borders. They like being planted in cold soils when planted in the garden and growing into the warmth, so really ideal to plant any time from the end of October right through to sort of February, March time. Lilies are looking like this, a lovely scaled type bulb, very hardy, and will come back year after year, so it can be left undisturbed, no problem at all. All they don't like is to be in waterlogged soils, so if you've got heavy wet soils, just add some grit to the bottom of the hole if you're planted in the garden, and that should keep the water away from the base of their roots. But here we're going to look at the planting in containers. We need a container that's got a hole so that it will drain through, all the water will drain out and it doesn't become waterlogged. And to protect and make sure that doesn't get blocked up, we put some crocks. So we put a handful of crocks to cover the hole, and then we need to put 2 or 3 good handfuls of soil so that we've got about 3 or 4 inches of soil below the base of the lily bulb. This compost or soil has been made up of some John Innes No. 2, some ordinary multi-purpose compost, some good handfuls of grit, and some sand, and also some of the old compost or spent compost from other pots and containers that I've had used before. So a very good mixture, and as you can see, breaks evenly and well, and will allow soil to drain through quite quickly. So once we've got that, we can get hold of the lily bulb, see some of the roots are already there, and a nice shoot starting to form, and just gently place those in to the container. This one here you can see quite easily holds 3. If you are growing in containers, I would suggest growing in odd numbers, 1s, 3s, 5s, 7s, or after that perhaps 8s, 9, doesn't matter. But in the early numbers, 1s and 3s and 5s really do make a better display. So you've got the bulbs there, and all you now need to do is carefully cover them up with some more compost until you're about 1 inch from the top of the container. Those now will sit there quite nicely, and in about 4 or 5 weeks time you should start to see them producing sprouts through the top of the soil. At that time, keep them well watered and continue to water throughout the growing season. Lilies, like all sorts of other bulbs, will need to be fed during the flowering, the growing and flowering time, and to feed them you need to use tomerite or something like a bone meal. They really need phosphate and potash. We have all sorts of types of different lilies. If you're looking for fragrant lilies, you need to be looking for oriental or trumpet type lilies. They have a huge amount of fragrance, absolutely fantastic, and they're the ones you normally would find in gardens and in the supermarkets where you pick up the bouquets, etc., because they use a lot of the fragrant types. If you want to grow lilies in some of the shadier or more acid soils, you need to look for species lilies or Martigan lilies, and the orientals like a bit more alkaline soil. But of course, if you're using a container, you're in control of the types of soils there, so you can push quite a lot for whatever you need. The types of lilies, you also have Asiatic lilies, very good for growing in containers, and you have any colour really from white right up into the very dark colours, so a huge selection to fit in with any colour scheme you might want. So an easy bulb to grow in my opinion, and I think you'll also find it's not a problem. To recap, they can be left in the soil from year to year, and as long as you feed them they will get bigger and you will get more flowers per bulb. So that is how to plant lilies.